Hello everybody and welcome to today's Ignition webinar. And first up, I want to remind everybody of what Reliv's mission is, which is to nourish the world in mind, body and spirit. And of course our 3-year mission for Reliv Asia Pacific is to achieve US $1 million sales per month in our region. And our top priorities for 2014 continue to be to increase our key performance indicators, to develop our brand awareness further so that people know who we are when you go out and talk and are looking and approaching people. And of course our social media strategy is to keep developing that and becoming much more professional and creating that and being more expansive in our social media strategy. And part of that is increasing our online capabilities, and of course our focus is to get people through Master Affiliate to Director where they're really starting to build a business. And today I'm really happy to be introducing our Bronze Ambassador from the Philippines to do this week's webinar, which is called The Approach. And I'm going to interview, and by the way, my name's Birch. I'm the Sales Manager for Reliv Asia Pacific, and today I'm going to interview for our webinar called The Approach. I'm going to interview Bronze Ambassador from the Reliv Philippines, and that's Beverly Jaro. Hello Beverly, and welcome to the webinar today.
Hi Bernie, I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to join you in your webinar today. I'm fine.
I tell you what, I'm very excited, and I know that when people are listening to the webinar they're going to get so much out of it. So let's get started. I've got some questions here for you Beverly, and my first question, we're talking about the approach for when distributors are approaching new people, when they're approaching their prospects. How do you approach potential prospects?
Okay, first and foremost, Bernie, I'd like to emphasize that everyone is a potential prospect. Whenever I do my basic training, I usually advise distributors that everyone they meet is a potential prospect. Every human being that is breathing, as long as they have ears to listen and talk to other people, they are potential prospect. So we should remember our business is a storytelling business. Our story is the most important instrument that we use to grow our customer base and our distributor. If somebody listens to our story and share it with his friends and other people because he or she is excited to what we tell them, then our business will grow. So it's really very important to us to remember that everybody is potential prospect. So how do I approach them? Simple greetings like hi or hello, or I started out my conversation on what's the latest happening or event in our locality or country. In other words, I don't discuss Reliv immediately when I talk to my prospect. My prime goal during that time is to establish relationship and trust with my prospect.
Okay, well that's great, and that's so important. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. So when and how do you introduce the Reliv opportunity and the products into the conversation with somebody new?
Well, as you know, Bernie, my background is I am a doctor here in the Philippines. And I think a lot of people would have the impression that it's so easy for me to introduce Reliv because I am a doctor and I'm doing this in my clinic. Well, that's not the way I'm doing my Reliv business, Bernie. My foundation in building this business is still the Reliv system fueled by the 5 fundamental steps, of course, with my very powerful story. In other words, whenever I talk to prospects, Reliv will be introduced into the conversation because of my story. I know it will definitely spark the interest of my prospect if I start my conversation with my story. I'll give you an example, Bernie. This happened just this Sunday. You know, that was late Sunday afternoon. As we all know, it was during that time that here in the Philippines, a lot of people are plugging into their television set because of Pacquiao and Bradley fight. As you all know, Pacquiao is the boxing champ here in the Philippines, and he is very popular among the Filipinos. And late Sunday afternoon, I got the chance to meet one prospect. The start of my conversation is, of course, the latest happening during that afternoon is, of course, the Pacquiao and the Bradley fight. And you know what happened? The prospect and his friend is really so enthusiastic when I asked them about how do you view the fight of Manny and of Manny Pacquiao and Bradley. So they discussed everything, their observation about the fight and anything that they see in the television. And I think the prospect of mine became so comfortable with me that along the way in our conversation, he asked me something. By the way, Beverly, what are you doing? What's your work? He asked me. I answered him, well, I am a doctor here in Bacolod, and I'm doing relief part-time happily with my husband. And then I keep quiet. Then he said, relief? What is that? Then that's the start of my relief conversation, and of course, I started out with my story. It's really the story, Bernie, that brings out the fire in any conversation. And I really believe in that. That's really very powerful.
Thanks for sharing that, Beverly, and I couldn't agree with you more. Our business is all about sharing stories, and the wonderful thing too, as you know, is that you can always borrow someone else's story as well.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, of course.
Here's another question for you. When distributors are speaking to new people, should they ask lots of questions or just tell their prospect all they know about Reliv and its products? What do you think is the best way for them to go?
I think the best way, the distributor should ask questions and listen attentively to their prospect. Listening is very important. Remember, first and foremost, build a relationship to establish trust with the prospect and let them tell you more about themselves for you to know their need. It's very, very important for us to know their need because it is where we could start off our conversation and tailor our presentation depending on what they need. Now, in some of our basic training or in our Master Affiliate Training School previously, we have these sets of questions that could guide us actually on what are the things that we need to know about our prospect. And we have what we call the FORM or the form, meaning you could ask about the family, about their occupation, their recreation, and of course, about money. It's really a very interesting topic for them. So during the initial conversation, you don't need to tell everything about the Reliv products. It's you know, the presentation, the things about the product, you will have a great time for that during the presentation phase of the 5 fundamental steps. And that is after you have set an appointment to your prospect. And it's really very important, and I feel and I experience it's very effective.
Thanks for that, Beverly. And this is something that distributors ask me a lot. And I think you being a Bronze Ambassador, it's going to be very good to hear your answer to this. But what type of questions should a distributor ask a prospect?
Well, of course, very important questions, those questions that are really so important to the prospect. That's, you mean questions of the prospect? It's about their family. How are they doing? How are they doing how are their health? That's very important. And of course, how's your job? No? Are you happy with your present occupation? Recreation, what are you doing during your pastime? What are your hobbies? And of course, well, mission also is very important. What is very meaningful to you, things that are meaningful to you that you would like to do. And of course, your financial situation, anything, do you want extra income along the way? So that's our important guiding questions that will help you out get the need, what is very important to your prospect.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Beverly, and that is good because it does lead into other things when you ask questions like that, because it allows people to start talking.
Okay.
Now, when you're actually meeting with someone, in your first meeting with your prospect, do you try and make the sale of the product, or do you try and sign people up straight away at your first meeting? And I know they're two different things. It's product and opportunity. So with the product, do you try and make the sales straight away? And if with the business, do you try and sign them up straight away? Two separate questions really there.
Oh no, definitely not, Bernie. You know, there are 5 fundamental steps. This is what we call our job description as a Reliv distributor. Of course, we have to establish our list, and then we set an appointment. For me, the way I do my business, I have a pre-appointment phase, meaning I try to to know more about my prospect. Sometimes I meet them along the way. I just say hi, hello, ask them those questions that would guide me to know more about them. And then during the appointment phase, I just set an appointment. My goal during that time is I want them to sit down with me to give me a time to talk about Reliv. So it's a short conversation. Definitely I don't sell the product. And as I have said, the first meeting to a prospect is about relationship building. And it's something that you need to listen more to your prospect for you to have the knowledge on what's really so important for them, specifically their need. And the more you know about the prospect, the more you will be effective in your presentation. The sale is a spontaneous thing, the way I experienced Bernie. It's just a byproduct after you've done the 5 fundamental steps, and of course, with the system, and of course, by telling story to your prospect. It's just a spontaneous thing. Sale could come along if you do a good follow-up after your presentation.
Okay, thanks for that, Beverly. So when you're actually, well, let me rephrase that. What do you see as the main objective in your first contact with a prospect?
Well, I think, as I have said, my main goal during my first contact is to establish a friendly relationship and to gain the trust of my prospect. Second, I want to know more about them. That's why I need to ask a lot of questions and listen attentively to them. And definitely, I want to know their need. Because subsequently, when I do my presentation, I should do my presentation the shortest time possible, but the most effective presentation catering into their needs. So it's really very important for me to know my prospects' need and listen to them, and I find it very effective if I know more about them, especially about their need.
Okay, thanks for that, Beverly. And you know, we've got all of our distributors, then this is going to help them greatly in stepping out and when they're approaching people, and it's lots of questions that we ask that I'm asked, I know, every day by distributors. So the information that you've given distributors in this webinar today is incredibly valuable, and I really thank you for that. Now, if we consider that distributors are in, doesn't matter whether you're a long-term distributor, been in for a little while, or brand new, we've actually got our Take the Lead 2014 Reliv leadership camps happening in every single country in Asia Pacific, and that's New Zealand, Australia, Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia, and they're all happening. The camps will be in November, and we've just started in this month the qualification period for people to work towards and achieve the attendance at those camps. What reason would you give to people? How would you share about how important the camps are and why they should really strive to qualify and be there?
Yes, it's really very important for us distributors to work on to qualify for the next leadership camp, because training in the business as well as attitude and character building is really very important if we want to be successful in a Reliv business. For one, for me, it's really very important. As I look back, the way I built my business journey for the past 9 years, there's no basic training, no Saturday, and no master affiliate training school that I have missed for the past 9 years. I really packed myself with all the training because I want to build this business for long term. And for the past 4 years, we really see to it for the past 4 years, we really see to it that we are qualified for the leadership camp here in the Philippines. Our first leadership camp was before in Palawan, and then it was in Banawe, Rice Terraces. The third one is in Boracay, and for the fourth one, I'm really so excited. This will be in Baguio City this coming November. I'm really looking forward to it, and VG and I are already starting out to qualify for this month of April. We have 5 more months to qualify, and I'm sure we're going to make it for the leadership camp.
And I'm sure that I'll see you there at that leadership camp. You and VG are an inspiration to people. You follow the Reliv system, you work so hard at your business, you lead by example, and you know our events theme for the year is Take the Lead, and you and VG certainly do that. And I personally thank you for that, and I also want to thank you for your time today. As I said, it's been invaluable, the time and the information that you've actually given in this webinar today. So Beverly, I want to thank you so much for today.
Okay, Bernie, it's really my pleasure to be with you in your webinar today. See you.
And on that point, everyone, I'd really like again to thank Beverly so much, our Bronze Ambassador from the Philippines, Dr. Beverly Jaro. She's done an amazing job for us today. And I want to leave everyone with this thought. For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. That quote is by famous actress Audrey Hepburn. And I put that up there today because I want people to remember that you are never alone in Reliv. It's because of leaders like Beverly that are so willing to give their time and share their experience and their knowledge that it allows every distributor within Reliv to be able to walk with the knowledge that they're never alone. So feel confident, go forward, use the information that you've learned today, and really enjoy your business and work hard at it and commit, just like Beverly was saying that her and her husband VG have done all this time they've been with Reliv. And please remember that each week's webinar is advised via email and Facebook every Monday. And again, get out there, sponsor, promote, advance, and ignite your business. And thank you everyone for being on this webinar today.